Hi, it's Kevin. Welcome to Relationship Ready. Today, we're going to talk about empathy. You feel me? That's what empathy is. Being able to feel someone, what they're feeling inside, and being able to relate to that. So we're going to talk about the definition of empathy. We're going to talk about what empathy is not. And we're going to talk about how it helps solve things together, with others, and for ourselves. So, what's the definition of empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's that connection. It's the beginning of a loving relationship. It's that attraction and desire that's mutual, that's there. And it's that pain of hurt that you feel when you're with someone in their pain. What is empathy not? Empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is feeling bad for someone. Not feeling the same feelings they're feeling, which is what empathy is. Sympathy is feeling pity or looking down on someone that you might feel has less privilege than you, more oppressed, more hurt, more pain, and feeling bad for them being in that position. It's a genuine feeling, just as valid, but it's not empathy. So it's important to separate the two, because connection comes through empathy, and distance comes from sympathy. So that's a very distinct difference that divides us, or, as we build empathy, brings us together. Empathy helps us to accept and to forgive. Empathy is not necessarily agreement, but it is understanding. I get you. I know where you're coming from. I feel your pain. I've experienced that love. I've experienced you. That is empathy. So, how do we develop this? Well, part of it's naturally. Some people consider themselves an empath. Maybe you feel like you're an empath. Maybe others have called you that. Or you know people who are. Who are like, they just take on the feelings of everyone around them. And empathy is not taking on the feelings of everybody, but it is feeling all those feelings. And in gender, the social construct of it, males are trained to be more physically empathic, and females more emotionally and touchy-feely empathic. But we're all wired for empathy. It's just the training and the nurture, not the nature, that says how we can express it. So when I talk to men about empathy who really need to build it in their relationships, in their friendships, they get it with this crass example. So if you've ever been on a sporting field or in a fight and you've been kicked in the nuts, that feeling you get, that cringe, ooh, yeah, I can feel that. That's empathy. No one else is striking you and hurting you that way directly, but you're feeling the pain of someone else. Men seem to get that, because men are just as empathic as women and non-binary and everyone else. But we are nurtured differently to be able to feel it differently. So, since we all share the same empathy, we can all be empathic for everyone else. But that takes understanding, and there are learning techniques to develop, which you may have been trained on since birth, in the way in which you've developed, in the way in which your family system, the way in which your peers, your school, your siblings are related to you. But there are direct ways in which we can become more empathic. And it's not necessarily becoming more empathic, but it's bringing out that empathy that you already have. And the number one way, actively listen to feelings, to where you're feeling whatever it is that you are feeling, in your body, in your heart, and feeding back those feelings. You seem hurt. You seem scared. That was rough. That's so exciting. That's feeding back those feelings. And not just listen for them, but really hear them. They have a life of their own and energy. Most of communication is nonverbal, and we express ourselves through our feelings. And here's a really important point. As you become more empathic, and if you are really empathic already, you don't have to take on all those other people's feelings. You could allow yourself to acknowledge them, bring them into you, feel them in your soul and your body and in yourself. But then if they're not yours, let them go. If they touch on your own experiences, then those are yours. Own those and keep those. But the ones that are not yours, you can separate those out with more insight, with boundaries, and with support. So this process is to build our relationships, to be more ready. And you can never be more ready than when you're more empathically in tune. So, what do we talk about today? Definition of empathy, connecting with others' feelings, being able to relate, being able to experience them together, with one person, with a group, with a room, in a crowd of music, or a crowd of comedy, or a crowd in a restaurant. You start to feel the vibe. That's feeling the empathy of the room. It is not sympathy, it is not looking down, it is not pitying. Those are things that are valuable if they motivate you to make change. Otherwise, you're just helping yourself feel better by pitying and feeling sympathy. Strive for empathy, because it brings us all together. So take a moment, some self-reflection. How empathic are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being, you are so empathic, and 1 being, you can't feel anybody else's feelings. Where are you, and where do you want to be? Because as we move forward, apply these to your life. Because you can only enhance yourself, your sense of self, be more in touch with what your feelings are as you touch others' feelings. To be more empathic and more relationship ready. Thank you very much. I'm Kevin Markman.